Recorded from the Oklahoma State University Stillwater campus, this is the Inside OSU Podcast. Here are your hosts, Meghan Robinson and first Cowboy, Darren Shrum.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Inside OSU Podcast. I am Meghan Robinson, joined of course by my co-host, first Cowboy, Darren Shrum, and the newest Big 12 champion coach, Chris Young, director of tennis here on campus and the head women's coach. How's it feel to be a Big 12 champ?
Feels good. That's what you work for. You know, you put in all that hard work all season long to get to this point, and it's awesome to see the kids be able to celebrate and to be able to enjoy that. And as a coach, that's what you want. You want to see your players be able to get the rewards from their hard work, and so that was a lot of fun on Saturday night.
What did it mean to you to have so many fans appear at the Greenwood Tennis Center for the championship match?
It was awesome. I mean, that's you know, one of the things that I had a legendary coach, Dick Gould from Stanford once, and I was kind of picking his brain. He said, you know, the best thing you can do for your kids is put fans in the stands. And I think that's so true, and that's something we've been working towards all season long, is to get people to be there for this team, and it's been building and building, and I thought Saturday night was the culmination of that.
So how many people does the inside court? So let's step back to like the Michigan-Ohio State weekend. Mm-hmm. How many people can actually set in there?
Is the fire marshal listening or not?
Listening. Okay, it's all on mute.
You know, we've had
how many can seat though? How many can seat
325,
and then
people, a lot of people standing.
And we had about 2,000 in there.
Yeah.
I mean, did we ever get a head count there?
No.
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
I have told people that, you know, did you get to go to Michigan, Ohio State?
No.
So I had almost as much fun there as the football, and it was crazy. It was loud. It was packed.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I've never seen so many people in that building in my entire life.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Who knew tennis could be so much fun?
Yeah, that's what I tell people all the time.
Yeah.
It's everybody that comes says it's way more intense than I thought, because you have so much action going.
And you can yell if you want.
And you can yell. That's right.
So
and
people get into it. I didn't think you could do that either. I didn't think you could yell, but
people get into it, and the crowd. That's the one thing. You know, we had during the Big 12, during the semis and the quarterfinals, we had two matches going at once. And whenever we were playing, whoever was playing on the backside, the coaches would be like, "Man, the roar of you guys' crowd is awesome." They're like, you just hear it, and you're like kind of stunned, like what just happened. So
it was an awesome experience. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I was there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for the Big 12s. And I think the best part of the Greenwood Tennis Center is you can see all of the courts.
Yeah.
So on Saturday night, I was at court 6 watching Christina, MVP of the tournament. But then you hear cheering down the way, and you're like, okay, who just scored? Who just scored? But I want to ask you about Christina, because she was named MVP. She is undefeated this season. What has she meant to this program?
I mean, she's meant a lot. She came in last year as a transfer from Nebraska. She brought a lot of leadership. She had played number one for the entire part of her career, and we put her at number one. You know, I think she had some growing pains just last year with, you know, the Big 12 conference and kind of how everything went. But she just has grown so much, and she's such a good leader. And for us, you know, our 4, 5, and 6 players are all fifth-year seniors. And so to have those kind of kids at the bottom of the lineup, they don't get flustered as easy. They kind of stay with what they're doing, and she's the epitome of that. She's been a great leader for us. She brings good energy, and her level just continues to improve. And she's only lost 3 sets all year long. So out of, you know, she's completed 18 matches. She's 18-0. Sometimes with our matches, all the matches don't get finished because we get to 4 points early. But, you know, in the 27 matches that we've played, she's only lost 3 sets. It's pretty amazing.
You know, when I think about tennis and golf, they seem to me they're almost more of an individual sport, but that's really not the case, especially with tennis. So I listened to one of the girls, and I can't remember which one, but she does a podcast, I think, with Robert Allen's group, and she was talking about her.
Yeah.
And just talking about how she has really pulled the team together, her leadership, most humble person she knows, you know, those type things. And that's what you want to hear from your teammates. And I think when people see that, they just they feed off that energy. But it was awesome to hear. You love when teammates brag on each other, because that means you got good chemistry.
Yeah.
And to me, that's how you win championships. I mean, you got to have great players, but you got to work as a team. I mean, I think that's the most key.
I think especially in our sport, as you said it, most of the kids chose tennis because it's an individual sport. They didn't want to be part of a team or whatever. And so now in college, it's a team sport. And some of them are on the team for the first time in their life when they get to college. Mm-hmm. And so that's the biggest challenge as a coach of college tennis, is bringing a bunch of individuals together.
Sure.
And like you said, it takes humility, it takes sacrifice, and there's a lot of things that you have to do. But in college tennis, more than any other sport, in my opinion, when the team really comes together, you can go farther, because they're not used to coming together. And most teams don't come together to the level that I think this team has. And the teams that have gone the farthest with me are the teams that are the closest.
Sure, I agree.
There's a team aspect. So in college tennis, for those who don't know, it's best of 7. You get 1 point for doubles, and then there's 6 singles matches. And whoever wins 3 of those plus doubles wins the match.
Right.
Now, while I'm sitting there watching, you're kind of following the score. Okay, Christina's up here. She's good here. You're looking down the way. Okay, Sophia, 1-1. All right, Naz in the middle. Okay, you're kind of following along with the scores to see which matches you might be able to secure. As a player, how aware of you are the other matches of your teammates going on while you're mid-set?
Yeah, you'd love to say the players aren't as aware, but it's amazing how aware they are. And it's amazing how there is momentum. Everybody's playing their own individual match, but there's so much momentum. You can see when someone kind of gets going, the crowd kind of gets behind, people start to press a little bit. And so even though there's 6 individual matches going, there's a lot of momentum in our sport because of that and because the players are kind of paying attention. I think that's where the crowd plays a big role. You know, I've told a lot of people that when it gets quiet, it's like the visiting team thinks, hey, maybe we're doing pretty good because I haven't heard the crowd in a while. Even if it's down on the far end, you hear kind of a roar, then all of a sudden you're like, something good happened for the Cowgirls. And so, you know, it's just kind of that mindset thing that I think it makes it a lot of fun.
Well, I was watching, so I was sitting court 2, right? And so as it got near the end, court 2, when they're in between points, they were just like stopping and watching.
Yeah.
Like they weren't in a hurry to go ahead and serve again, and because they were watching, I think, what was going on 3.
Yeah.
And kind of watching what Nas was doing on 1. But they were very well aware of, and they're playing their own game, yet they're, it's kind of like my wife. She can hear multiple conversations. You wish she couldn't, but 6 was listening to 5, and they were all just kind of honed in. They were like stopping. They were always checking because they could just tell, and it just comes back to.
And the funny thing is, sometimes in those situations, kids are trying to stall a little bit. If they know that the match is going to finish, well, if I just hang around here, my match might. I won't take that L. That's right. I can maybe call a timeout, or I can call something.
Because Nas was like 1-1, right?
Yeah, she was close.
Yeah, she was close.
She was getting closer, and Lucia was getting closer. Ayumi was close at one point. Obi, down there with me, and then she got the third point.
Just kind of hang on.
Exactly. Okay, I'll just maybe sit here for a second.
How about Sophia on Friday night, though? Because she was down, came back.
5-2.
She was down 5-2, and that was in the 3rd set.
Yeah.
So she lost the 1st set, won the 2nd set, down 5-2 in the 3rd set, came back and won 7-5.
And she pulled exactly what we're talking about here. So I'm looking down, and she's right on the edge individually of going to the NCAA tournament. So she didn't need to lose her ranking for that. And so I saw her down 5-2, and we were going to win the match otherwise, but I really wanted her to be able to finish. And I see her take an injury timeout, and she's there getting the back stretched out. And I thought, this is going to be funny because, she's waiting for the other girls to finish. But I'm like, well, then one of them didn't finish, and Lucia, she had to go to a 3rd set. I'm like, when she stands back up, she's going to realize I got to finish. Like, there's no out anymore. Right. But I knew she'd do it. She's the type of kid, when she gets going, puts her mind to it, I'm like, this is going to be funny because she's going to have to do it, and she'll get it done. And she did. She won 5 straight games and clinched the match for us 7-5. It's awesome. And that's the thing with her. I've seen her do it all season long. She's such a great competitor, and when she gets it going, there's nobody stopping her.
Yeah. Was she on court 4?
Yeah, court 4.
Yeah, because I like watching her. Last time I got to see her, I think she was on court 3, and she was behind most whole time. Then she just comes back, like you said. So, what I noticed interesting, I think, is about you is that the courts you float. So tell me why you determine what court you float and what player you kind of follow.
For the most part, we've kind of gotten a little bit of a routine with certain players. I really prefer kind of the bottom half to lower lineup players as much as possible.
That's what I know. That's where you're always at.
Yeah, so, because I feel like those kids need you a little bit more. I think as you develop players, they should develop. In our sport, it's a little bit more independent. They probably shouldn't need as much coaching as they move up. And then sometimes just certain players want it more days than others,
Right.
And so there may be a player that comes and says, hey, stick with me on my court or whatever. And it's just a feel that you get as coaches.
Right.
I have 2 really good assistants in
What are your
Jaime and
assistants'
Samantha.
names again?
Jaime and Samantha.
Okay.
And, they do a good job. They've kind of each taken their shot with
Jaime sticks with Nas.
Yeah.
And Samantha sticks with Obi. Right?
Yeah, and that's kind of been it. And then sometimes we'll put Samantha maybe just with Ayumi or somebody. She's a very calming presence, doesn't say a lot, and so sometimes girls like that, and then sometimes they want a little bit more coaching. And so I think that between the 3 of us, we complement each other pretty well.
Sure.
And so we look and we say, hey, this is what's going on. And Jaime and I, even in the semis, we kind of changed roles a little bit. He was with Obi, I was with Lucia, and we kind of talked in between. It's like, hey, you come here and I'll go there, and we'll kind of mix up the voice a little bit. And so different players do different things at different times, and I'm just all about what gets the job done.
Sure. It's always interesting just watch their personalities
Yeah.
and how they perform and how you guys interact. And just knowing you as a person, to me, you're a calming person, right? And probably helps people to – I'm a yeller, so I'm a guy that.
See, I feel like I've grown in that way because the girls are like, you don't get. I mean, they see me when I get upset, but it doesn't happen too often. But
right.
I used to not be like that as much. But then I had so many players would tell me, like, hey, we're watching you. We're watching all your reactions, and when you're doing certain things, and I still got a few things that I do that they kind of laugh about. They know, like, when I mess with my hat or something like that, they know, like, it's okay. He's like
a big sigh or
something. He's not. Yeah, he's not.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, everybody's got a few ticks, right? So
I have to tell one. This is softball, but thinking about ticks, right? So Carrie Eberly, she's our new coach, right? And so when Carrie would miss a call, she would always stiff-legged reach down and grab dirt with two hands and turn around. And so at the end of the season, I just asked her. I said, "You know what you do when you're mad? I can tell everything." She goes, "No, you can't, because I don't show emotion." I said, "Yes, you can, because you bend down and pick up dirt." And she goes, "Oh my God, I do that, right?" And I said, "Yeah, you do." But it's just funny. So different things about, and people pick up on that, and if people are really paying attention, you can kind of learn, if they're upset, keep pushing those buttons or whatever, and so. But it's interesting. So Chris does smile occasionally out on the court, so he doesn't get.
Yeah, but the girls are always like, "Yeah, when you go to your hat, we know, and I kind of scratch a little bit here, and I'm like, I'm just warming up the brain a little bit. I got to think a little bit, I got to figure out what's going on up there, but.
Makes it easier when you're 27-0.
That's right. It's a lot easier.
Well, I don't know. Is it easier or is it more pressure now?
I really haven't felt pressure this season. We had a meeting with the team and we were talking about it. And I said, sometimes I think you could feel pressure, but with this team, I love this team so much. I'm so confident in this team.
Sure.
There hasn't. It's been less pressure for me on match days than ever before. I've been coaching now almost 25 years. I mean, 15 years here. And I know in the 15 years here, I've never been as calm with the team as I have been with this team, because I just feel like we got so many ways we can win.
Sure.
And we've been battle tested. We've been down and out in so many situations, and the girls have kind of come back and found a way. So if it ever we were to ever lose, it would be a surprise to me.
So if right now this is probably the best team I guess you maybe have heard, but wasn't 2019, was it similar? I mean, or in standings wise?
Yeah, 2019 was a really good team. We wound up losing in the round of 16. 2016 we made the finals. That's probably the team that you would think people compare it to. That team went into the national tournament the 12 seed. So even though we had a really good year, we didn't have the ranking that we have now, obviously.
Sure.
But that team was prepped and ready to go, and then they went through 5, 4, and 1, along the way, and got to the finals and lost match point. So we're trying to do it all over again this time.
You tell good coaches because they can remember every play of every match of every year of every play.
Right?
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I ate yesterday, but, it's kind of funny. But coaches, the good ones, they always know because they always remember the things where they lost, really. It's kind of like that. I think that a lot of people, if you're used to winning, you appreciate winning, but you really, the ones weigh on you are the ones when you lose or do something you shouldn't. But
it's funny because this week the BYU men's assistant coach used to be the Cal women's assistant coach, and in 2016 Cal was undefeated, and we beat them in the semifinals of the national tournament. First time they had lost, and it came down to the last match on, and we both had the two girls that we thought we each want this girl out there. Mine was just better. But then, we wound up losing the next match with the match point. We had the match point. I can still tell you everything that happened in that point. And so he got to talking to me about it. He's like, "Man, I still think about that match with you guys." And I said, this season I thought about it a lot because you guys went undefeated all the way to the semifinals, and then we knocked you off. And I was like, I can't let somebody do that to me this year,
Right.
And so I
He's
thought
probably
about
thinking,
that.
yes, I hope it does.
Yeah, I thought about that a lot. But he's like,
right.
I was like, now I feel what you guys were feeling
Sure.
In that moment. So.
The road to the title will go through Stillwater for the women. We will host the regional starting next weekend, first weekend in May.
Correct.
Is it single elimination starting that weekend?
It is. So right now it's just single elimination, 64 draw. First 16 seeds host the first and second rounds, very similar to what you see in softball and baseball. and then you have a super regional, one match, which is different from those two sports, and then the final
just
8.
One match, 2 teams.
Just 2 teams, one match.
Okay.
So for now,
the super regional is just 2.
It's just one match,
Wow.
just 2 teams.
That's crazy.
So you get to the final 16, the higher seed hosts, and it's just one match.
Oh, wow.
So knock on wood, there's never been an upset, and we started this in 2019. The super regional round. Used to, the final 16 would go to the final site,
Okay.
16 teams, and that's what happened to us in 2016 in Tulsa. 16 we went to Tulsa. Then they started saying, well, that round of 16 maybe isn't as attended as well as it would be if you hosted on campus sites, which is obvious. So let's go to a super regional round, and we'll shorten the number of people and the number of days at the final site. And so that's what they've done now. So you got to get to the final 8 to get here to Stillwater, but we'll be able to be at home leading up to that.
So do you have any predictions who you're thinking you might play, like in the super regionals? I mean, I know you got to get through the regionals first, but
Yeah, I'm trying to see. Right now there's a battle for that number 16 seed. Auburn, who we've already played this year, is a possibility. Tennessee is a possibility. I think those 2 teams are probably theirs. There's a couple of they're done with their seasons, but the Big Ten and the Pac-12 still have their conference tournaments this weekend. There's a couple of results that could affect their ranking and shift that one way or the other. But there's a chance it could be Tennessee right now, and they have a girl that played for us for 4 years that transferred as a grad transfer there. So that'd be kind of an interesting matchup.
So if you're thinking about those teams, or your season, let's talk about that a little bit. You're 27-0, but who gave you the most trouble? Who do you not want to play again?
UCLA gave us a lot of trouble. We actually were down 2 match points in Obi's match that it could have shifted. We lost. I mean, we won that match 4-3, but had she lost, and like I said, they had 2 match points. That was the 3rd match of the season. That was the very first round of the National Indoor Championship. So that was like the round of 64.
Yeah, sure.
Had we lost that, we wouldn't have gone on the run and won the National Indoor Championships.
Right.
Our season would have been totally different. So I would say UCLA, we have a lot of respect for.
Are you better now than you were then?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think that the kids knew how good we were then.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had beat Michigan, and we beat Ohio State at home, but I think we were just still kind of finding our way a little bit with the lineup and some of those things. I think we're playing really well. I mean, Saturday night to beat number 7 Texas a 3rd time in the way that we did.
Yeah.
It wasn't close.
Domination.
It was not close.
Yeah.
Domination.
And so I think if we can play that match, we can play as well as we did in that match, then I think we got a lot of things. But Stanford's out there. They're the number 3 team in the country. They've won half the national championships ever played. They've never had a class go through Stanford and not win a national title. And these seniors, they got to stop that from not happening.
You got to be praying a lot.
Yeah.
So
Stanford is 1. They're right now 3, and then North Carolina is a 4 seed. They're the defending national champions. They had an injury earlier in the season. They've kind of come into themselves, and they haven't lost in a while either. So there's a lot of steps along the road that are going to be challenging, and we're the one thing is we haven't underestimated anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And you look even at the Big 12 tournament. You had teams like our quarterfinal match with UCF was tough. Our semifinal match with Texas Tech was tough because everybody's going to give you your best shot when they're number 1.
Mm-hmm. Always.
When we were talking about Sophia's match against Tech on Friday night, you had mentioned she needed to finish for her rankings. How does the individual aspect of the NCAA tournament work?
So we'll finish the team final on May 19th. They'll crown a men's and women's team championship. And then on the 20th, the individual championships will start. And it'll run here in Stillwater from the 20th to the 25th. So from Monday to Saturday. It's 64 singles, so men and women. So 128 singles players, 64 men, 64 women. They have their own draw. And 32 doubles. So imagine you're going to have 64 singles men's players, 64 singles women's players, 32 doubles men's players, 32 doubles women's, all here in Stillwater for a week, and that's after we just finished the team. So the challenge is if your team does really well, you're grinding and you're going all the way through, and you finish on Sunday night, and then Monday you got to turn around and play individual championships. And we had that in 2016. We finished our final, and then a couple of our girls had to turn around and play the individual championships. And Kat Adamovich, who was our number 1 player at the time, had just kind of run through the gauntlet with the team. And then now she turns around and she went through the round of 64, round of 32, round of 16, and she gets to the quarterfinals. after her first set, she came to the bench. She's like, I got no legs left. I mean, I got nothing. She's like, I'm going to try to just will myself. But, it's a tough grind for those people on teams that do well. But it's going to be great to have it in Stillwater here for 10 days.
So a lot has happened for the tennis center to be built. The Greenwoods were a big part of that, and others have given money to the program and all that. And I'm sure they're probably giving you feedback, but kind of what's their feeling now that we're going to get a championship series here, and plus we're doing so well? I mean, how rewarding is that for them and for you?
Yeah, it was exciting, and I know that Jason Carroll and the OSU Max crew, captured some really cool moments.
They do a phenomenal job.
They do a great job, and so I wanted to shout them out. They captured some good moments with the Greenwoods, when we won, and then to have them down on the court. And we had a picture in 2016 with them holding the trophy and all the crowd behind them. And I was like, we got to recreate this somehow. Yeah. So we did it with so many people had stayed around, and we have a crowd behind us, and the team and the Greenwoods and the Brewers and a few people that have really supported our program over the years, and this year especially, and Chad and some others. So everybody was kind of there with the crowd behind us. And I was like, this is what makes our program special. This is what makes us unique than anybody else, because there's nobody in college tennis that gets the support that we have. And, I think that's what everybody's excited about with the Nationals, but also a little bit like, wow, it's going to be kind of crazy in Stillwater with the crowds that you guys get.
Yeah, it was. I wasn't in that picture because I was cold and I left. And so
Hoodie Darren.
I think I did
Hoodie
too.
Darren had
Everybody
to
left with.
I have
They're
a
like,
blanket.
y'all want to save the picture? No, it's cold.
Yeah,
we're heading out. Y'all are good. Y'all got this. But it's just an incredible facility too. And I was sitting there looking, and I mean, does anybody else have that kind of facility at the collegiate level that's on their campus? I mean, that's a university, not just. I mean, I know they can probably use other facilities, but a university facility.
Yeah,
like
there's some good facilities. I mean, Georgia has always been kind of known as having one of the best facilities. They just built 6 new indoor courts, so that kind of, they only had 4 before, so that kind of upped their game a little bit. And there's places that do, but I think to have 6 in a row, like Megan's talking about, to have it with the layout that we have, stands on both sides. Sometimes people just have it on one side. They don't have it enclosed on both sides. Right. And I think that's where it's going to make it really like an arena, like a full stadium feel when we get both sides full for the NCAAs. Okay. And you're down there on the court. We sunk at 21 feet below street level, below Washington, and that's for the wind break and everything else. And it did a good job for us down there playing.
The fans get a little bit of it. That's okay.
The fans got it. You guys had
out.
to tolerate. Just put the hood up, get the blankets out, we'll be good. But I think it's look, I think the Greenwoods every single day for what they did for us to kind of help us sell this vision, and everybody else that joined on. It was a game changer for our program, and there's nobody that has it better than us, that's for sure.
Yeah. They're great people. And so kind of clarify, because this was something I wasn't fully aware of. So none of these games or matches will be played indoors, right? None, right?
As long as the weather cooperates.
And what is that break? What is that?
There's a couple things for us. It's 50-degree temperatures or 20-mile-an-hour sustained winds.
Okay.
So if any of those two things happen, you move indoors. Now, they give a little bit of leeway when it gets to the postseason, because it's an outdoor sport. We want to play it outside. It could be rain, in May. That's always kind of a factor for us, and in all different places. Mm-hmm. And last year in Orlando, we got a lot of rain. We had to move some things inside. 2016, we just go back to that because that was in Tulsa, and it was the national championships, and we played 4 matches. We played the round of 16, quarters, semis, and finals, and every other day it was something different. The round of 16 was indoors. Quarters was outside. The semis was inside because of rain, and then the finals outside. So you could play outside. We're hoping that doesn't happen, because we're not going to be able to probably fit everybody that wants to come to move inside when we move inside. We've had a lot of meetings about that, of who gets to go inside if that happens, and I'm just praying that doesn't happen.
Sure. Awesome.
We've talked a lot about the amazing fans of the OSU tennis teams, both men's and women's. What can they expect if they come and attend any of the rounds of the NCAA tournament?
I think it's just exciting, and it's intense, and I think that it's there's a lot of action. I think you're going to see teams come here, and these are kids from all over the country, all over the world, with their teams chasing their dreams of being an NCAA champion. And that's not only happening with our team, but it's going to happen with all the other teams that you see come in here. And everybody's passionate about it. We have, these programs have great kids. They have great fans. They're going to come here, and they want to see what Stillwater's all about. They want to see what the Greenwood Tennis Center is all about. They want to see what our crowd's all about. So hopefully everybody helps us put on a show. But I think it's going to be electric. It's going to be exciting, because the stakes are high.
So everybody will be here. If it's not exciting enough to have all the contenders here. So what other outside entertainment have you brought in, and what can we expect to see? And now that's National Championship weekend, I guess.
That's right. So
Okay.
May 16th through 19th, we were going to call it the Fan Fest. NCAA wants us to call it the Fan Zone. I don't know why, but we're calling it the Fan Zone. So we're going to have stage with programming there. We're going to have vendors. We're going to have people setting up tennis nets and different things. We're going to close down McElroy Street for those few days so that people can be able to walk around and have different things. So we want it just to be a festival. And we just announced yesterday, Corey Kent, OSU's own Corey Kent, is going to play at 2:30 on May 19th. He's going to play a set for us right before the men's final starts at 4 o'clock. So he's going to play at 2:30 to about 3:45, and then everybody can walk in and watch the championship. But that should get the buzz. That should get people out there. Corey's having a great career right now. He's got some songs that have really gone well in the past year or two for him. A lot of people know him from The Voice, but they know him from his time around Stillwater. And we'll have Stormy Warren here all weekend hosting.
Okay, good.
He has a show on TuneIn Radio with Garth Brooks on their channel, the Big 615, the country station. So we've tied in a lot of OSU people here. Garth gave Stormy the okay to come here, and they're going to do some programming, get a lot of content from the weekend, and he's going to be hosting the stage. We're going to have some other musical artists up there, a DJ up there playing music, and then Corey will finish it off. So it's not going to be just about the tennis. We want people to know that it's an event, and we want to showcase Stillwater and, more importantly, Oklahoma State University. It's going to be the hub of college tennis, and we want people to come here and leave with a great impression.
Sounds more like a fan festival than a fan zone to me.
Yeah, it's
we're
gonna have a festival in the zone.
But the NCAA wants, they get
That's
fan
the-
zone.
Well, it's funny. I met Corey when he was in high school, which was funny, and he played a song.
He's a Bixby kid.
Yeah, right. And he was dating a friend of ours' daughter at the time. I think he's married someone else totally now, but nice kid, and does do some great music. And Stormy's been just such a great friend of you too.
Yeah.
And he just does so much for Oklahoma State. I think he still has a son here in
He
school,
does.
and they still live in Tennessee, I believe. But
Yep.
he's just done such a great job promoting OSU and the brand. I mean, it's unbelievable.
There's nobody that's a better ambassador. I mean, anybody who's ever listened to when he was on the highway at Sirius or now on the TuneIn, everybody's like, what's his connection to Oklahoma State? Because he talks about it all the time. That's pretty cool to have somebody out there champion our brand all over the world.
Sure. Now, that weekend, can't we potentially be hosting a super regional for baseball that weekend too? If we're able to
It would be a
progress?
regional for baseball and a super for softball.
Oh my gosh.
Oklahoma
That is a
State
festival.
fans' dreams.
So there'll be no parking, but it'll be fun. That'll be just get out and enjoy the day, man. Whatever you just want to probably tennis number one, right?
That's
because
right.
this is big time, right?
But we've talked a lot. I know for sure it's a super. It would be actually it would be regionals. Sorry, I misspoke. Regionals for softball.
Right.
We talked about yesterday. I think baseball actually may be in the Big 12 tournament. Now that I think about it.
They'll be in the city, right?
Yeah, so they'll be gone. I know they are gone all weekend because we're using their facility some. But softball does have a regional. We've talked about them with dates and times and figuring it all out. And so we're going to coordinate the best that we can. And we hope that the fan zone will be accessed by both softball and tennis fans alike.
Right.
Well, there was the Bullet tailgate
It is.
posted right up outside of Greenwood Tennis Center. So people were going from softball to the tailgate to tennis, back to the tailgate. So it could work out for everybody.
Yeah, great thing. We want to work with everybody.
Sure,
every
sure.
sport here matters, and we want to work together, and that just strengthens numbers, and we want Kenny's team to do well. So I think we can work it all out and everybody have a good time, and maybe it brings more people to their event as well.
Sure, more exposure.
Exactly.
It's kind of funny because fans are kind of segregated, right? You have your baseball, softball, tennis, and I've seen tennis really just blow up this year. I mean, like my son and his new wife, I think they've hit every tennis match at home, right? Because I'm going to softball and I'll be right over. Well, we're going to start at tennis. We're staying at tennis.
I like it.
And it's awesome, right? And I enjoy it all. I mean, it's just fun. And what a great time to be a part of OSU and Stillwater this spring. So a lot of cool stuff coming up. Plus we have graduation, the same, the 10th and the 11th, I think. So
Our Super Regional is graduation weekend.
Yeah.
Getting hotels for those teams and officials and everything else was a challenge. So we have a lot of good partners here in the community, and even our regionals next weekend, same as Calf Fry. So it's there's a lot going on around Stillwater, but hopefully people make tennis a priority in their schedule the next month.
Absolutely. Super proud of you guys. Love Sarah. You guys are just an awesome team, and you just do so much for Oklahoma State. I can't ever brag enough about you guys because you're really good people first, and that's what I really appreciate. And that obviously spreads throughout the team and the kids and people around you guys. You are contagious, both of you. People love you guys, and we appreciate everything.
Well,
you
I
guys
appreciate
do.
that. Yeah, Saturday was cool. It was my daughter's senior year. It's her prom. She showed up in her prom dress. She's like, Dad,
I saw them all. That's right.
I
I was
was
like,
missing
missing that. Yeah, we weren't missing that.
I know, because Sarah was like, Kelsey,
They had to be cold in those prom.
because
I'm like,
she
now they're
is-
colder than me, I'm sure, because we
Yeah.
saw them leave.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was your daughter. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah,
so.
her and
Yeah,
her
yeah.
date and a couple other couples. I was like, hey, this is a prom picture that nobody else going to get with the
Oh.
Big 12 trophy. They came
No
down there
doubt.
afterwards.
No
so,
doubt.
yeah, she snuck in and.
Don't know if their dates liked it as much as she did, but at least
Hey,
I'm sure they did.
she
so.
was focused. She was
Right,
locked
right.
in on cheering. I looked up right after I saw you. We had just finished. Obi had just won her match, and we knew we were pretty close. I looked up and saw you guys, and then I turned, and she was there. And so, it's a family affair. That's what you do as
Sure,
a coach's
sure.
kid. They make a lot of sacrifices, and we missed some of those opportunities. So to be able to, I grabbed a few pictures with her real fast before her prom, and then her to come and
Awesome.
get pictures with our team and everybody else, and to sharing it. That's something she'll never forget.
Lasting memories, man.
Yeah.
Never. That's right. So.
Chris, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited for next weekend. If you guys have not been to an OSU tennis match, highly, highly recommend going to the Greenwood Tennis Center next weekend, watching the Cowgirls hopefully win the first round. You won't jinx it, but
That's right. First things first.
come support the Cowgirls and go Pokes.
Folks.